Ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus told me you haven't been playing games this year. That's okay. We got you with the gaming news. On our play for this week, will Xbox now compete with Capcom, Square Enix, and Ubisoft instead of PlayStation? Will we see new Kingdom Hearts news early next year? PlayStation and AMD wants to put more AI in our games. All this and more on Season 8, Episode 51 of Press X Star Gamers Digest. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, CJ, a.k.a. Sexy Bad Choices, a.k.a. Ho, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot. Merry fascism, miss in the Helldivers world. You know what I mean? I am joined by...
John M.F. Ross.
What does the MNF stand for?
Bum stickity, hump hump. No, okay, I'm sorry.
Now you know who we are. Press X Start Gamers Digest is a video podcast that connects the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We're live on YouTube every Sunday. We made it. That's how we do. When we can, of course, because life is hard.
But tuning in to Press X Start seems to be hard for you guys. Come on,
I need to make that a lot easier. Just, subscribe and click on the button and just watch the content. We're here for you. So be here for us. Do it.
Hit the notification bell. If you're driving, pull over, tune in. If you're in the grocery store, throw them eggs on the floor, tune in. Praising Jesus, push them to the side, tune in.
Hey, get him to tune in too. You know what I mean? We need all the subscribers.
Smoking crack, tell your crack smoking friends, tune in.
You might get a discount. All right. Don't forget, after you're getting all your friends, all your family, all your dealers of things, illicit and not, to also like this video and subscribe to this channel. You should do that too. If you're getting everybody else to subscribe, you should also do that too. We appreciate it. And then, of course, as Sean said, hit the notification bell, because that last thing right there, that last mile, super important. If you are listening and you're not watching, I can't believe you. I really can't believe you. How dare you just do that to us? It's terrible. Actually, it's not terrible. It's great too. You could be less terrible though by leaving us a review on whatever podcast service you're using. If you have done all that, if you've done all that, you can also join our conversation by joining Discord at pressxandreducer.com/Discord. So, I guess announcement. We're pretty much at the end of the year. There has been news this week, so we've been fortunate enough to be able to cobble up a show just for you and you and you. But next week, I'm pretty sure it's going to be even less because everyone's just going to be home. So unless something really, really big happens, like, Phil Spencer is like, you know what, Xbox is now Y box or something. We'll see. We'll probably skip next week, but then the first weekend of the new year, we'll have a game of the year and like what we're looking forward to and, that kind of thing. So we may see you in the new year. This might be the last episode of 2024 for us, but it's been fun and we'll see you next year. Don't sign out thinking like we're done. This is just the start. We're about to actually do the podcast. All right. So yeah, let's get into the gaming news. Number one, Xbox won't have exclusives going forward. What in the world? It's been claimed. Okay. This comes to us from VGC by way of... That's an ad. Jeez, I just got rid of that ad. Terrible. Tom Ivan. So, the days of Xbox exclusives are reportedly numbered. That's according to Windows Central executive editor Jez Corden, who discussed his understanding of Microsoft first-party strategy in the series of X posts this weekend. Xbox won't have exclusives going forward. Everything is timed exclusive at most, he claimed. So that means essentially all of the we had a talk about Halo specifically. They're switching to Unreal and like they had this whole thing. And it's like I one of my things is like it's weird that they're going to be leaving the Slipstream engine, the engine they've been using for I think all of Halo, to switch over to Unreal, and they're like kind of trying to set it up as like, oh no, this is a good thing. Like we're doing this because we have more flexibility in X, Y, and Z. And it's like, or or it's going to
Right.
be a lot easier to port Halo to PlayStation. And it seems like that was the plan. Um, Another thing, actually, now I think about it, it's actually it could be the reason why there has been such a delay with their new games because we saw a little bit of Fable last year. We saw Perfect Dark as well
That
last year.
shouldn't delay them.
Well, what I'm saying is that if this actually no, I might just be blending timelines because if this if this strategy was positioned like this month, last month or whatever, it's not going to really
Mhm.
make a difference for for the developers who are making these games, years past or whatever. So they could just be having their own hardships. Um, yeah. What What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Um, there aren't that many homegrown Xbox exclusives that I'm interested in. I don't consider anything
Yeah,
that they bought within the past, you know, 5 years or so home like, pandemic afterwards,
yeah,
really
yeah,
homegrown.
yeah.
Um, who's making Indiana Jones?
Machine Games, the people that made Wolfenstein,
Mm,
and
okay.
I don't know. I think they're my mind wants to glob them onto Bethesda, but I don't think
That's
that's
what
the
I was
case.
thinking in my head, but I mean,
Yeah,
I guess not, but
I don't think that's the case. I think they're just their own separate thing.
all
Yeah,
these
I
years,
mean,
we've had, Xbox for what, 2 decades now?
mhm,
Something like that?
just
I
about.
don't and throughout all of that, they've had, what, 4, maybe 5 notable franchises? Uh,
Yeah,
everything past that is just kinda like, circumstantial. They didn't really make none of it's were, like, really first party, exclusives, so I don't feel like we're gonna be missing anything. I don't it's not like there's anything I've never been into Halo, I've never been into, Fable. The
yeah,
hell is it, Gears of War? Like, mm,
yeah.
Microsoft
It's
Flight Simulator seems cool, I guess.
and then you have Forza.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that weird thing of because Xbox has been, kind of focused on the PlayStation competitor.
Mhm.
We've had the experience of comparing their games to our games, and I feel like they have they've done a good job
I
of like
hate to
kind of
say they're in our games, but I get you.
I say that just to make this conversation easier, like PlayStation versus Xbox games.
Yeah.
I don't have
Okay.
any ill will towards Xbox in the way of being like, oh, I hate their games or whatever. Like
That's what you said
I
off
love
camera.
Halo. Like I loved Halo. Like I got an
Yeah.
Xbox just to play Halo and just a Radio Future and Phantom Crash. Those three games. That's pretty much it. But like it is a thing of where we are right now and just l- living through, or I guess living through PlayStation investing into their IPs, investing into their games, and making their games a big deal, and just kind of watching Xbox kind of trying to do that, but also trying to carve out a niche for themselves in terms of we're going to be service based, we're going to be doing like Game Pass, and it's like we know that Microsoft has the money to invest into these games and make them a big deal, but they don't want to do that, or they don't buckle down and actually do that stuff. So we get into a position now where it's just like none of the games really like speak to me as well. And it's just like it's definitely
Yeah.
not because it's just it has an Xbox tag on it. It's just like there's something about the games itself where I'm just like I feel like I feel like it could be better. I don't know. It's a weird thing of just like, man,
Nothing has compelled you to go buy an Xbox and play like Halo did back 20 years ago.
yeah.
I get you.
I'll say like out of Xbox's current lineup, the one game that I'd be like, oh, I'd be interested to play would probably be like State of Decay, and just because like I like that whole zombie experience thing, but State of Decay 3, we saw that like years ago at this point, and it's just like, what's happened to that game?
That's not out?
So no, it's not out. We saw it such a long time ago.
What?
Yeah. And it's just a weird thing of just kind of watching Xbox just
Damn.
trying to figure something out for themselves. And we're not even going to talk about the fact that, you know, Phil Spencer has said that like their games were going to be exclusive, and this has all just been a battle between Phil and Satya Nadella, the Microsoft CEO, just kind of
Mhm.
the Microsoft CEO wants money while Phil wants to, you know, invest in this whole Game Pass thing and kind of keeping that Xbox train going. But it just seems like he's lost out in terms of what Microsoft wants. So that's what we're gonna get essentially. But you know, this does mean that PlayStation players will be getting like Fable, will be getting Perfect Dark, will be getting, of course, Indiana Jones, will be getting Halo. So essentially, all of their big IPs will be coming to everywhere, which is good. That means that they're going to make more money and that they're going to fall in line with like a publisher. So, well, third party publisher, not first party publisher. So that's
Yeah.
cool. You know, to go along with this, Xbox is reportedly developing a cross-platform user interface. This also comes to us from VGC by way of that's another ad. Thank you, VGC. Tom Ivan as well. I'm not going to say too much about this because this is just pretty much them developing a UI that could work for the different platforms, a la devices that you know you'll have Xbox access through. So they have to make something like this if they're going to go multi-platform. So yeah, they kind of those two stories kind of work in tandem. Number two, Square Enix event rumored to take place in February could show Kingdom Hearts 4 and more games. I I don't remember, Sean. Are you a Kingdom Hearts person?
I love Kingdom Hearts.
Wait, are you joking?
And I really feel like I could be wrong because I didn't play Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 1.5, Kingdom Hearts 1.8, 365/2 Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 2, 2.5 HD Remix. Um, I'm sure I'm missing like 15 of them, but
Yeah, yeah.
I really don't remember if 1 and 2 basically was like play through the basic plot of the movie and then bounce out.
I mean, it
And
was yeah. It's like you played a part of you played like one of the big parts of one of the Disney movies of that character, and then something happens and you have to leave. Essentially, that was what they did.
I might have to go back and really check on that, but
Yeah.
did you play it too? Did you play 3?
hmm I played one, two, and three. Those were the only Kingdom Hearts games that I played. Actually, no, I played a mobile Kingdom
Mhm.
Hearts thing, and I was just like, "Oh, is there a story here?" And somewhere was like, "Oh, there's story here," and I played. And I was like,
Is
"You know
this
what? I don't care."
Lost? Is this story? Um, there's a few settings that just lost me in 3 where it was just
Mhm.
like, y'all just want people to play through the movie. I feel like this is something about
Yeah.
something about the Frozen level. I think that's where if people go back
hmm
that drew a lot of my ire. When did that game come out? That episode is up somewhere, but
hmm
if they can fix the feel of the game,
It came out
it
in
just felt
2019.
damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Long time
it
ago.
just felt like there was no weight to the game. It felt too floaty, and there was no actual feedback when you were playing it. So
Yeah.
I was just playing through the game just to play it. Um, that Verum Rex, I think, level or mini whatever looked cool. And then
Oh yeah.
I want to say it was the Pirates of the Caribbean where it looked like hyper realistic. That looked kind of cool.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be that, but it's just really the game feel for part 3 was ass, and I'll be
Mhm.
excited if they fix that.
Yeah.
Because as convoluted as the story was, that ending, that cliffhanger was like, "Oh shit, give me more." Even though 3 was punishment to play. So, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when it comes out.
Yeah. So I am a I'm a late Kingdom Hearts fan in that I loved 1 and 2 to the point where I wanted to make my own Kingdom Hearts video game. And then, you know, I lived the life between 2 and 3 and I was just like, "Oh, yeah, this game from my essentially my childhood is coming back. Okay, cool. I'm gonna jump on 3 and play it." And I know
And left it in the
I didn't play the 10 to 11 games in between because they were on a bunch of different consoles and life experiences. And it's just like, all right, I can't keep up. I am sorry, but I will be there for 3. I jumped on 3 and I had similar issue with you in terms of, oh, this feels kind of weird. Um, the the moments that you are experiencing these different levels, it's kind of like, this kind of feels like he just threw it in here just to like.
I felt like I was a ball of effing chaos just floating through the air swinging and shit, and I was like, "Alright."
Fire, cure,
And then
blizzard.
here comes the train, like,
Yes.
that game was a lot.
It is a thing of like the I am excited about Kingdom Hearts 4 in that I feel like with between Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy
Mhm,
7 Rebirth,
mhm.
they can pull elements from those games and really refine the combat side of Kingdom Hearts. I don't know how they're gonna refine the story part of Kingdom Hearts because that story is
Oh,
there's a lot happening.
someone's story is over. I don't remember. Whatever, man. Fuck it.
Our
Next
story
story.
is
I
over.
don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I remember, like, a major chapter of the story ending, like, a major element because they had killed whoever, but then
Yeah. I mean, there's still the box that the Goofy's
it was just like, "Yo, how much
nemesis.
deeper could this story go? Y'all are pulling stuff out of the ether," but alright. I mean, I'm in for the ride. F it.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, and like that was where I was at when I started Kingdom Hearts 3. Because I was just like, all right, well, you show me what you need to show me, and I'll Google the rest, and I'll figure it out as I'm going. And it's like I know I'm going to have to do. Actually, I feel like between 3 and 4, whenever we get
Yeah.
a trailer for it, and whenever it comes out, I don't think there has been any Kingdom Hearts games to come out in between. I think they're
Oh my
actually just.
god. Are we even gonna get 4 directly, like 3 to 4?
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think they are just throwing everything into 4 and not doing that whole game stuff because they realized that it was a dumb idea. It was a dumb idea. But yeah, in terms of this rumor, we have to take it for a grain of salt because it is a thing of someone's posting online saying like, oh, there could be it feels like it's about time for Square Enix to show something of Kingdom Hearts 4 because the last time we saw it was in 2022, and it seems like based off of time schedules and all that stuff, then it makes sense that we get this, especially because we're definitely not getting the third part of the Final Fantasy um, 7 remake trilogy. We're not getting a Final Fantasy 16 type of game from Square Enix, so it's like out of
God.
their big RPGs, it would probably
Final
be Kingdom
Fantasy
Hearts.
17 ain't released until, like, halfway into the PS6's lifespan.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Because I would imagine we'd probably get Kingdom Hearts 4, and then we would get the Final Fantasy, the last chapter of Final Fantasy 7 remake. and then we'll get like a completely new Final Fantasy after that,
They need to
probably.
tighten up. Everybody
Yeah.
needs to tighten up.
Yeah, no, this is just it's a lot. You're just watching the time pass. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much that. It'd be cool if this happens. Again, take this with a
Mhm.
grain of salt, or not. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I think February is a weird time to do an event like this. I mean, looking at that, I could like if PlayStation really wanted to put their foot down, they could be like, "Hey, Square, like, give us that trailer." Like that would be crazy because I feel like PlayStation is going to be having some kind of state of play or showcase within the first 3 months of 2025.
They probably wanna bump their quarter, get some good numbers in the first fiscal quarter.
Who,
That's more
Square
likely
Enix?
what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So, speaking of bumping numbers in horsepower and computer power, number three, PlayStation and AMD are teaming up to infuse games with AI. This comes to us from The Verge by way of Jay Peters. Yeah, Peters. Sony is furthering its partnership with AMD so they can create more AI powered technology to make games look and play better, and not just on PlayStation hardware. The two companies are establishing a deeper collaboration to work on machine learning based technology for graphics and gameplay. Lead architect of the PS5 and PS5 Pro, Mark Cerny, announced on Wednesday. So, PlayStation put out of nowhere, by the way, this 30-minute long presentation from Mark Cerny about the PS5 Pro, the architecture behind that, and just
Yeah.
kind of reiterating the three tenets of the whole system, and like basically just kind of getting into that. And at the end
He
of this
basically said,
whole
since y'all bitches thought this was a cash grab, let me show you how deep the rabbit hole goes, how much more improvements we did on this. Or give us your money."
exactly. Exactly. Right. And the whole thing ended with them or with Mark Cerny announcing this collaboration with AMD in terms of by naming Project Amethyst, which is the name of this collaboration. Something that was kind of pulled out but not really focused on is that Mark Cerny said that like we are at the point where most of the level up that we're going to get is not going to come from the straight hardware. It's going to come from like software and AI powered machine learning and uh, all that stuff. That jargon that we
We have
hear
hit
so
the point of diminishing returns as far as graphics.
exactly.
And
Yes.
if people want hyper realistic graphics, that means games ain't gonna come out for a good 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And the budget for those are ballooning, and that shit is
Hmm.
unsustainable. And people aren't trying to buy games anyway because they're waiting for them to come out on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So at this point, that was what ray tracing was supposed to be. It wasn't just supposed to be lighting and reflections that you could see. It was also supposed to affect physics, but that physics doesn't sell systems for people. So
Exactly. Yeah. So one of the things that Mark Cerny kind of focused
mhm,
on and talked about was the method of upscaling from like 720p to 4K, and essentially how their their systems that they're working on is going to improve that. And the reason why that's important is because if you have a device that is putting out 720 and you
mhm.
have this AI powered, I guess, wrapper on that can output the 4K, you are now able to essentially put like have the hardware power of something that's just running 720, which can work on a mobile device or which can work on a handheld. So the idea, what people are kind of speculating is that with them trying to get this Project Amethyst thing going and like working at a suitable rate, they would be able to produce a handheld that could probably work as like kind of like a Steam Deck versus what we have in the PlayStation Portable, where the PlayStation Portable is just remote playing from your PlayStation, and then they're doing cloud streaming now. But with the like sort of like a standalone handheld that can you can download your games to it, and it can just run at 720 or whatever reduced frame rate, but then be upscaled to 4K and actually look good. So I think that's sort of the like part two of this whole project where they're trying to get technology down, but the actual use for technology could be in a handheld. But that's nowhere what, not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is, and we just, they already have this stuff down and they're just giving us old information. I don't know. But it's interesting. Did you watched a little bit of it, right?
Watched like half of it before I tapped out because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's talking over my head. I'm not that high level on things, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Mark Cerny's a smart man. It's like, I don't know what you're saying, but you sound real convincing. So yeah, so of course this is one of those things where that whole that whole conversation, that whole like presentation was a lead up to announcing this project. And it feels like it was probably done that way so the people who are invested in the hardware and stuff to that level would understand why this project Amethyst is such a big deal. But for everyone else, it's like if you tapped out before that, you probably wouldn't even know this whole partnership happened, and just you're not going to care, and it's probably not going to matter to you because you just care about the game part. You're not really invested on the tech hardware side, so it is what it is. All right. Before we get into Snoop Dogg cross like a dragon, maybe. Hey, you doing good? Yeah. You getting ready to celebrate the holidays, however you celebrate the holidays, or not celebrate at all. You just want to chill, play games, just watch TV, Netflix. Sure, that's cool. But what you can do though, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Thank you. If you are listening, we appreciate you. I'm looking at you, but you're not looking at me because you're listening. You're not watching. Could be watching. That'd be great. But could you leave us a review or tell a friend? Do both. Hmm? Tell a friend about our podcast. Tell a friend about the cool content we create, and then have them leave a review, whatever podcast service they use. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Number 4. Snoop Dogg teases involvement in new Like a Dragon game, Project Sentry. This comes to us from NME. That's a new one for me. By way of Ali Shuttler.
Mhm.
So this is interesting. We saw Project Sentry at the Game Awards, and we actually showed the trailer last podcast. That was the RGG game that looked like probably like the first Yakuza or something like that, because it's set in 1915 Japan. And in the trailer, you see the, I guess, main character or a character that's in the game, and he has like a black jacket with red stripes going down the back. And the character walks out of a pub or some kind of bar and just immediately throws hands or gets hands thrown at him, and he
People
has to
run
fight them
up
off.
to get his throw his fate, run his fate.
Exactly. So, we saw that trailer and was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Meanwhile, Snoop Dogg posted an image of him wearing a similar jacket like that main character or like that character, but instead
No,
of
he didn't
what?
post that. RGG Studio posted that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's even more interesting. So yeah, so RGG Studio has him in a jacket that's similar to that character, but the stripes are gold instead of red. And the actual the text to the picture says dot 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 yet. Whereas Snoop Dogg said, I don't have a game dot 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 yet. Sean, what do you think this is?
I don't know, but I'm all here for it. This is like Mark and Naughty Dog. RGG haven't done me wrong yet. You just gotta take the plunge. They weave like for all their storytelling chops throughout the whole Yakuza series.
Yeah.
I see this game whenever it does come out being nominated uh for something.
Hmm.
If this is a culmination of all their work. This looks like something fresh and new.
Hmm.
They have gained a lot of notoriety since the Like a Dragon reboot. People are going to be all over this. This looks stylish. This looks fun.
Yeah, I think
It's
this is such a weird thing, right? Because
mhm.
if Project Century is going to be a period piece, unless it's not, it's like this is Japan 1915. For a black person to show up there, it's like,
No, no, no. We were all over the world.
yeah,
Yeah. I
well,
mean, it may feel odd. You know what? Good God. I can't wait until we get all the woke uh, hate for this game as if niggas wasn't just everywhere at all times. Like,
that's true. That's true. That's true.
I'm not expecting Snoop to roll up in a lowrider,
Yeah.
playing Laylo, but we've been everywhere. As you know, my great grandfather is from
Mhm.
China,
Mhm.
so like
Mhm.
we're fucking everywhere, man. I would
Yeah.
expect a few black people here. Listen, goddamn it, Shenmue had the goddamn dancing Jamaican in the fucking game. We've been to Japan, all right?
No, so here's my thing, right? I think it's one of two things. It's either Snoop will be in the game
Hmm.
or Snoop will be producing music for the game. And
Yeah.
I kind of hope he'll be producing music for the game and not in the game, because I feel like if he's in the game, they're gonna have him do some wild shit because it's Yakuza, and it's just like, unless he's like part of the main story, which I think it's gonna be kind of weird for him to be part of the main story. If he's gonna be a
We'll
side
see.
story, like, yeah,
We'll see. We'll
it's
see.
gonna be interesting. Like, I'm also down for this because I think Project Century, just on the face of it, looked really cool. Um, I will play Infinite Well at some point in my life. I will play Infinite Well.
Oh,
But another thing actually to note is that from what we know right now, we know that Like a Dragon, or I guess RGG has split the Yakuza games, right? So we have Like a Dragon, which is like the RPGs, like turn-based style games,
yeah.
and then the spin-off games are supposed to be the like action combat games, right?
Traditional action, yeah.
Right, because like
So this next one coming up is gonna be traditional action with Majima Goro.
yeah, so I'm I also think that's interesting in terms of like, okay, well, if this is going to be, if they're still following this pattern for Project
Mhm.
Century, then we know Project Century is going to be a spin-off game. And if that's the case, then
I don't think this is a Like a Dragon. I think this is something completely separate, but I do expect to see this within the
um,
next year or two because of
based off
their
of their like work
the way
ethic.
they produce games, the way they develop. They're very efficient. They run in parallel, so
Yeah,
I would expect to see this released within a year at max 2.
right. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I that'd be really cool if we do get like, hey guys, this is coming out next year. It's like, oh dang, wasn't prepared. I guess we should have been prepared though. But yeah, we'll see. Um, number 5. With Sonic, Persona, and Yakuza under its belt, Sega thinks making a subscription service like Xbox Game Pass would be very interesting. This comes to us from Games Radar by way of Concert. Don't you agree, Sean? Wouldn't it be very interesting for Sega to have their own Game Pass?
He needs to be taken out back and
He
had a
needs
conversation with.
Jesus.
Yeah, like read the room, my guy. People are already at. If you were gonna do this, you should have did this around pandemic when people were just flinging out money. At this point, they have
Yeah,
subscription fatigue.
this is
I highly. Mm-mm.
it's okay. So
This shit had to be like $5 a month, if that.
yeah, So, okay. Sega is the latest publisher to consider joining the already saturated market, as the company's president, Shuji Utsumi, yeah,
Yeah.
told the BBC he found such services very interesting and was evaluating some opportunities in the space. We're thinking something and discussing something we cannot disclose right now, he said. This
Did anybody ask him, or did he just, I got a secret, but I can't tell you?
it's it's one of the things where it's like all the time we say, man, CEOs just live a different life. They're not really like invested
Mhm.
in, the actual industry in the same way that like everyone else is. And it's just like they just make the decisions to kind of move on with their life. And it's one of the things where it's like, dang, that is definitely the case here. Like he's not looking at Xbox Game Pass in terms of what's actually happening, how much money they are spending to keep that thing going. Like they had to buy the biggest first person shooter, one of the biggest first person shooters, to keep their subscription model like afloat. And it's like, Sega, why would you do this? Like you
Reading the room. That's all.
like Persona is doing so well for them. But I don't, because I think Persona's probably. I mean, let me not. I Sega Sonic definitely makes them probably the most money just in terms of overall like
Mhm.
everything. But in terms of the gaming side, it's like, is Sonic really selling like that crazy for them to be like, oh, we could make a subscription model off of this kind of thing? Like
Kids
that's
love Sonic somehow, and I don't even know. I guess
yeah,
Sonic is still insanely popular with kids.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's one of the things where it's just like I really hope they don't spend the money on this because I just I just don't know, man.
Gonna subscribe, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah, so some of the games that they have is like Persona, uh Shin Megami Tensei, Yakuza, Total War, Football Manager, and Metaphor Fantasia. So it's
Mm.
like, you know, they got games, but it's just again, it's just like I don't just seems really like not a good idea. Like not a good idea at all. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, I guess they'll see, and we'll just have to deal. Number 6, Ubisoft wants to change the Far Cry formula with Far Cry 7 and Maverick. This comes to us from Insider Gaming by way of Sam Sapilio. Old Sapio. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Actually, no, that is the wrong title. That's the wrong article. I apologize. Tom Henderson. That's a lot easier. Okay, so um, this is actually a big article. I had grabbed the chunk out of it. Is it here? No, it's here. In 2023, Insider Gaming had several reports on the Far Cry series throughout the years. Notably, the Far Cry series currently has 2 games in development, which I didn't know about this, which were both originally under the same game and codename Talisker. Its new mainline title is now under the codename Blackbird, and an extraction based shooter is under the codename Maverick. I didn't know they were doing an extraction shooter. Both games are still in development at the time of writing, but the release dates have been pushed back internally from 2025 to 2026 due to complexities in development. Moving from Dunia to Snowdrop.
How long have these games been in development? Snowdrop has been out for years.
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah.
What is going on at Ubisoft? Oh,
Everything except for making good games. Like, yeah. Okay. By the way, Ubisoft definitely released a NFT game. We're not going to even bother talking about that or wasting our energy because it
Mhm.
is crap. Um, yeah, so they moved to Snowdrop Engine and under development at Ubisoft Montreal. Both games are set to move away from the Far Cry formula. Maverick, which takes place in the Alaskan wilderness, will see players fight one another, animals, and the harsh weather to survive. On the flip side, Blackbird will now see the player have to rescue his family, not played by Cillian Murphy. I think that's a joke. I think it's a Far Cry joke that it just goes right over my head. As tall as I am, just over my head. Who have been kidnapped by a conspiracy cult who have been performing hallucinogenic experimentations, Jesus, on animals and children. Terrible. These people need to die. Oh my gosh. It's said that the player has 24 real life hours, 72 hours in the game to rescue their family. And the timer is reflected in game by the player wearing a watch on his wrist. Okay.
As opposed to his leg.
Right. Um, but this isn't just a gameplay loop of both games changing. It's understood that both games have had a significant overhaul to the movement system too, including the additional of tactical sprint, sliding, bolting, and more. Seemingly, this is due to both projects originating from the same game and sharing similar movement mechanics, with the similarities of both games bleeding into one another. Other aspects include the inventory system and looting, also appear to bleed from the extraction based shooter into Blackbird. Two, which sources outlining that it doesn't affect the mainline entry. I I'd argue to make a lot more sense of given I argue it makes a lot of sense given the desperation to rescue your family, said one source when asked. Yeah, okay, so this is interesting. You played the last one of the last Far Cry games, right?
One eye on me. I did, man. That
Yeah, I thought you did. Yeah.
um execs. See, first of all, the issue is the smiles per hour quotient that most publishers are trying to reach with just bloating their games with bullshit. Far Cry 6 was far too long.
Yeah,
Uh Assassin's Creed Valhalla was way too long.
yeah.
What came before that? They had I don't know. I
Odyssey.
didn't play it. Odyssey, like
Odyssey was like insanely long.
every game doesn't need to be 50, 60 hours main story. Like I dread what the hell Far Cry 7 is gonna turn into. I'll look into it, but
Well, I mean, based off of this, I think this is actually kind of interesting. I mean, the extraction shooter that can go either way, of course, because that's going to
mhm.
be like a multiplayer thing. But this sort of like 24-hour kind of you have to do what you got to do to save your family from
I mean,
being,
it's an
you
interesting
know,
mechanic. If it sells, it
yeah,
sells. I don't
yeah,
begrudge them for that.
yeah. I think for me, because I never really like jive. Jesus, how old am I? I never really like meshed with the Far Cry series just for the fact
Mhm.
of just like I don't know. It looks okay, but I'm playing Call of Duty. Like that's a shooter that I'm playing, even though the fact that you're playing Far Cry for the story, not multiplayer, is like I get it, but it's just like I don't know. This kind of sounds interesting. The extraction shooter part, I'm just like, I need to see to believe that to see exactly if that's interesting. Because again, this is Ubisoft, and their decisions hasn't necessarily been the best. So this is a big old wait and see. When we'll actually see anything from this, they said that the development's been pushed from 2025 to 2026, so probably not anytime soon. Maybe close to the end of next year, probably. The last story, this isn't gaming related, but it's gaming adjacent. So YouTube is cracking down on clickbait videos. Um, this comes to us from The Verge by way of Emma Roth. So the platform will begin removing clickbait in India before rolling out the change to to more countries in the coming months. So essentially, YouTube is taking a tougher stance on clickbait, saying that it will remove content with titles or thumbnails that promise visitors something that the video doesn't deliver, as spotted earlier by TechCrunch. This change will slowly roll out in India first, according to YouTube's blog post, but will expand to more countries in the coming months. YouTube spokesman Jack Malone said in a statement to The Verge. The reason why I'm including this here is because I feel like YouTube is a big part of gaming in terms of us.
Yeah.
Subscribe, do that stuff. We try not to create such like exaggerated thumbnails for videos to get people to click in. But YouTube is littered with that stuff. And I feel like for YouTube to actually take that stance to be like, okay, we're going to actually vet our own content to make sure that people are getting what they click on, I think is a great move and hopefully will improve the overall ecosystem. Because I think, we've all talked about how people are rage farming and basically doing this stuff to get people to doing whatever they have to do or whatever they have to say in these thumbnails to get people to click. And oftentimes they do that through saying like, you wouldn't believe this woke nonsense or this DI crap or like blah blah blah. And then you get in the video and it's just like, this is nonsense. And
Mm.
YouTube will be just outright deleting these videos now. So I think in the best case scenario, we get real change in the YouTube ecosystem. In the worst case scenario, we'll forget that this was even a thing, and everything will just carry on as normal. And things get just a bit worse. That's kind of it for this. I just wanted to include that because I thought that was something interesting that I saw. I was like, that could actually be a positive for us on the gaming side as well.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Nah, people just need to learn how to not click on clickbait.
Yeah,
It's just some of the
yeah.
stuff is so obvious.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the issue too. Is that like again, we're late 30s, right? We were fortunate
What's
enough
wrong with you?
to. I didn't say which one. You know what I mean? Hey, math is hard for people. So they're not gonna figure it out. Plus, we're back. They don't know.
Mm.
But so yeah, like we were fortunate enough to not have this whole algorithm essentially try to guess what we like in our teenage years. And it's like I can understand how damaging that could be, especially in that era of our lives where it's just like, oh, that looks crazy. Let me look that up. And it's just like that could just fry the brain in a way. So it's like this is something YouTube should have done a long time ago. And for whatever reason they didn't, for whatever reason they're starting now, I think it could be because of election stuff and how crazy that was and how surprising that was for people. Um, but yeah, that's my guess. So, anyways, YouTube is doing that now. Cool. We'll see what happens from it. That's it for the main news. Real quick, we can just go into the quick hits and then talk about the things we've been playing / watching. Quick hit number 8. Marvel Rivals celebrates 20 million players with a free reward. That free reward was just a spray. Not much. Not much. But
Hey,
yeah,
the game is
they got
free. What do y'all want?
exactly. Yeah, I'm not like thinking about it. They also released a winter event that was actually pretty cool. I'll talk about it in the what we've been playing section. Sony is now got a burp there. Sony is now Katakawa's largest shareholder. So last week we talked about Sony potentially buying Katakawa, who is a parent company of From Software. That was not the case. They just invested, they bought more stock into the company. So now they're the largest shareholder of Katakawa, which is fine. Yeah, there's not much to say about that. Number 10, Sony absorbs more of Bungie strategic partnership team, or absorbs more of Bungie. Strategic partnerships team joins PlayStation's franchise development division. So again, PlayStation is, or say Sony is furthering grabbing more people out of Bungie and making them actual PlayStation employees. This is strategic partnership, so it's not like they're making a dev studio or anything like that. It's just management stuff, upper level stuff, I guess. So whatever. Number 11, Secret Level renewed for season 2 at Prime Video. That's a thing that is happening. I find that interesting. We'll get into that in the What We've Been Playing section. Welcome to the What We've Been Playing section. Both Sean and I have watched some, if not all, of Secret Level.
Yeah,
And we also had games. You watch all of it?
Nah, I watched some.
Okay. Yeah, I've watched some. I haven't watched all of it. And then we'll talk about the games we've been playing. So let's jump right into Secret Level. How many? I think there's like 12 episodes total. Do you have an idea of how many episodes you've watched?
I'll have to look it up now. I could tell you.
Oh, there's 15 episodes.
And all of them aren't out yet, though. If
Oh,
I'm correct.
no, I think they're all out. Is there more? No, I think
Maybe.
they're all out right now at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The last batch dropped a few days ago. I saw.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I saw the Spelunky title. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Um. Let me see. Let me be me. Try to shut me down on MTV. I got to episode 5, but I didn't like actually. I guess I finished episode 4. I'm about to start 5,
Okay. Yeah.
but I like what I see so far.
Okay. So you're on episode 4.
Which is the Unreal Tournament Zan episode.
Okay.
And this gives me the feeling of like, I don't know if our listeners have watched Love, Death, and Robots, the anthology series,
Mhm.
where there's always a few episodes where it's like, wait, I want more, make this a series, but
Okay. Yeah.
we'll never get it.
Yeah. So okay, so I I have watched about 11 out of the 15 episodes at this point.
Mhm.
I started the what is it? The New World one with, you said Arnold was Arnold's the voice actor for the main
Yeah.
character.
Mhm.
I I was watching it in the living room. London was watching her iPad, and it got to the part where the Arnold got on the beach and the
Mhm.
lady grabbed the sword and killed the one guy and sliced his neck. And I was like, "Ooh," and I looked over to see if London was watching. She was watching. She was like, I was like, "Oh man." She's like, "Okay,
Too
watch
late,
something else." I was like,
interrupted.
"Watch your iPad. What are you doing? You're supposed to be watching your iPad, not watch this." So, anyways, we had a whole thing about that. Um, so yeah, so I didn't get to finish watching that episode because like, let me turn this off and
Mm.
be responsible at least for this hour.
Man, Sean has seen so many people murdered. What are you gonna do?
She was like, "That was nothing."
What are you gonna do?
Nah, that's true. Yeah, because like if it's robots and stuff, London has seen things happen to robots because I'm a monster in Gundam. Anyways, back to Secret Level. I'm conflicted with this because my main ones that I wanted to watch was Mega Man, Armor Core, Concord, and um, the PlayStation one at the very end, the what, playtime fulfillment. I feel like the best episode from what I've watched has been episode 1, the Dungeons and Dragons episode. And it's a weird thing of like, it's like, man, this looks super generic, but the story was digestible in a way that I feel like they didn't really replicate that through the other episodes that I saw. And it's just like, it seems that there's the one concept that is repeating over and over through these episodes is like death and restarting like a video game. And I feel like some episodes do a better job at that than the other episodes. And it's just like I don't know. Part of like especially the PlayStation one at the very end, it's like this does not need to exist. There's nothing here that's like, oh man, this is cool, or this is like uplifting isn't the right word, but it's like it doesn't make me want to go play PlayStation games. It's just like what is this here for? Like this is just such a weird
I
like
mean, I don't think it's there as a marketing tool to get you to go play a game. Um,
but
it's
it
just
is though. Like that one, like the way that is set up, it is
yeah,
very like I'm gonna spoil it. Yeah, so you play as a or you don't play. You The main character of the story is this black girl, and she is doing um she's doing like she's delivering packages or whatever, right? And she
mhm,
has this little robot with her that has essentially gamified her world. So she's like running and she's getting points from like dodging cars because she's like riding a bike through traffic or whatever. And she has to get to this package before the time runs out. She gets a package and she gets a reward from it. And the reward is her bike now looks like a copper colored bike versus an orange colored bike. And she's like, oh, that's it? Or no, it was copper and now it looks orange. And she's like,
what episode is this?
15, the last episode.
Okay.
Playtime fulfillment. So, and it's like she doesn't even get the reward in the real world. It is just a virtual skin on her bike. So it now to her looks like this orange color as long as she has her like visor on or whatever. And she essentially gets this mysterious package from this guy who I thought was Cole from Infamous, like the new design of Cole, but I don't
Yeah.
think that's him because like later at the end of the episode or whatever, so she get this mysterious package, and essentially everything starts to like try to stop her from delivering that package. And
Mm.
when I say everything, I mean PlayStation characters tries to stop her from delivering this package. And it's just like, okay, this is interesting. Where is this going? So she gets to the um she gets so along the way, her robot assistant is also trying to stop her from delivering the package, and she ends up getting to the delivery point, which is I guess her old home or something that she didn't recognize the address. Yeah. And she gets into her room and she's like, "Oh, I remember. This is this was my inspiration or whatever." So, the whole thing changes. The package opens up and it's like a blue glob thing, and it like it inspires her or whatever. And she walks out her room and she sees the PlayStation characters that was trying to, I guess, chase or catch her. Be like, oh, that was fun, right? That was a fun game. And the person who gave her the package is sitting outside her house on a bench, and he's like, huh, you ready for round two? And they get up and they do like a little like start line or whatever. And he also has like the blue blob thing, and it morphs into a like a bike or something, and then they like take off. And I'm just like, what? What is this? It's just like I could have been playing Gundam instead of watching this. Like, what is this? And I had that feeling through a couple of these episodes. Like, I think the Concord episode is cool because at first you see characters and you're just like, I don't remember any of these characters from the actual game.
Yeah.
But then at the end, you realize that that is the crew that essentially sent out the map of the galaxy to all the other free gunners or whatever to allow them to like traverse the galaxy without having to essentially pay the government in terms of how that traversal system works. And it's
Okay.
like That's cool. Like that is cool because you get the backstory of these characters that probably should have been in the game itself. Whatever. That's something else. We don't it doesn't matter because that game doesn't exist anymore. But and then the most disappointing one was Mega Man because Mega Man is a franchise that only matters to our generation because there hasn't been a good Mega Man game. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say good Mega Man game. There hasn't been a relevant Mega Man game in years at this point. And the Mega Man short that we get is very, very, very short in that the last thing he does,
Mhm.
he puts on the armor and he teleports to a battlefield, and that's it. We don't see him do any Mega Man stuff, and it's just like, again, I could be playing Marvel Rivals right now or something other than watching this, and it's like,
Would be
I
playing, Infinite Wealth, but,
no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yes, yeah, I could have been playing Infinite Wealth, and then the Armor Core episode, which Armor Core is it's one of my loves in my life, and
Mhm,
the
mhm,
episode wasn't bad. The only issue that I would had with it was that I think they did too much human stuff. And it's like the one thing about Armor Core is that everything takes place in the mech. Like you don't see these
mhm.
people, you don't see your pilot. That part is there's a story there, there's sort of a reason there, but it's just not the important part. The important part is the mechs, the customization of the mech, and the mech doing the stuff. Do you remember in the trailers for Secret Level, the armor core part where it's like the armor core finger is like about to touch the human finger, like that the Renaissance painting. I forget the name of the actual painting, but it's like a person touching an angel finger kind of thing.
Mm, no,
No,
not really, but
okay.
it's fine.
Well, yeah, people who were looking at that, they do a really funny thing in the show, and if you're gonna watch it, I'm not gonna ruin it, but it
Yeah,
was a
Imma
thing
get
of
through it. Imma work my way through it.
yeah, okay. I'm not gonna ruin that because I laughed out loud because I was like, "Holy shit, that's funny." But, yeah, I think I'm gonna finish watching the New Worlds thing, probably watch the Unreal Tournament. I don't care about Warhammer and Exodus Odyssey. I can take it or leave it. But I might just finish it because I'm almost done with it and just be done with it.
Yeah.
But I don't for them to get a season 2, I'm like, "Okay, y'all better actually, like, do stuff with this stuff." And then Sifu, like, someone made a comment that, like, the Sifu episode is someone who's really bad at playing Sifu, and I'm just like, "Yeah, that's exactly what it is." That man finished the
Mm.
first level at, like, 85 years old, and it's just like, "What are you doing?" Like, "What are you doing?"
Hey, man.
Yeah, man.
Takes time. Takes time to get better.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. That's my talk on senior level.
Okay.
Other games. Sean, you've been playing other games. What games you've been playing?
So now that I have this, gaming laptop, as it were, if
Yeah.
you wanna call it that, it's got an i7 RTX 4060. Not too great,
Okay.
not too shabby, whatever. I'm looking through, I like free things. Apparently, I claimed, Electrician Simulator on the Epic Store for some reason, so I am playing as an electrician in real
This
life.
man got the power of a small god in his laptop and he's playing electrician simulator.
Hey, I also have Loop Hero. I didn't start that yet, so I mean, whatever, man.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
Um, my only gripe about the game is that it is a European focus, so that
Oh.
like the wires and some of the stuff
Oh,
in the game, it's like it's
yeah.
not American electrical code. And if somebody has never done any electrical work in their life, they would think
Mhm.
this is what the shit looks like.
Yeah.
So that's my only minor gripe is like blue, green, and what? Yeah. Brown,
Right.
that's their
Their color
wire
code.
colors over in Europe. Yeah, our shit is black, white, and bare metal. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, for me, I I don't have the one rundown, but I played no, actually I talked about that last week. I played Helldivers, the new update. It was pretty cool. I gotta play more of it. I don't really have too much to say on
Mm.
it. I played my Rivals Winter event. Thought that was cool. I need to I I think I got like 2 more games of it, then I'm done.
Of
I think it's a
Marvel
cool
Rivals?
Marvel Rivals, the
Okay.
winter event, because
Oh,
there's,
okay, okay.
like, missions or what? I think they call it missions in the game. It's stuff you can do in the event to get, like, points and stuff. So I think I am almost through with those missions for the event. It's cool. As I mentioned last week, it's basically Splatoon, which you play as a character Jeff, who is a land shark that can swim in the ground and spray water. But in this, you're like spraying colored snow to like paint your side or paint as much of the field as you can before time runs out to win the game. It's cool. It's fun. It is very much so like somewhat throwaway in that there's not like any real like crazy strategy other than like when you fight an enemy, you want to kill the enemy as efficiently as possible. So you're
Mm.
lining up your shots and getting him off is the most important thing. But other than that, it's just like it's something interesting to do beyond the normal game. So I think it's cool if they're already doing stuff like this so soon after the game launched. I am interested to see more of their like content timeline to see like is this going to be something to expect like every 3 to 4 months or kind of thing, something like that, or is it just going to be like, oh, it's going to be seasonal, so we get 4 of these things a year. So we'll see. um yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, yeah, we did a lot of talking, so I think that is it for us. Maybe it for us for the entire year of 2024. That's it. That's it. Maybe. We might come back. We might not. If we do, it's a holiday surprise or whatever you want to. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just talking. All right. This has been an episode of Press X Start. This has been the possible last episode of Press X Start Gamers Digest for 2024. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you enjoyed all the episodes this year that we made because it was a lot of episodes we made and it was a good time. It was a good time. We hope to have even better times as best as we can in the new year, in the next 4 years. You know what I mean? Don't forget to rate and review us on whatever podcast service you're currently tuned in on. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do that thing. I could watch you do it right now. I see no bells hit. You need to do better. So hit the bell, please. We appreciate it. Until the new year, possibly. We hope you have a happy holiday. We hope you spend this time to play as many games or as get far in the one game that you've been playing. We hope you eat food and be merry and get married, maybe if that's what you're doing. If you don't want to do that, that's fine too. Just enjoy, have a good time, and we'll see you. We'll see you when we see you, because it'll either be next week or we'll be in the new year. So you take care.
Yeah.